Coming up on today's show, Tesla posts a profit for the first quarter of this year despite the devastating impact of the coronavirus. XPeng launches the P7 sedan and claims it has the longest range of any car on sale in China. And internal EPA documents show that Porsche willingly dropped its EPA range estimates for the Taycan electric sports sedan before it even went on sale. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to another roundup in the world of cleaner, greener, safer and smarter transportation. As parts of the world gear up to return to normal and restlessness seems to be the feeling du jour, it seems that things around here are only getting weirder and weirder. So I'm here to try and guide you through it all. Thanks to the Electric Auto Association for their sponsorship of today's show. You can find out how you can accelerate the electrification of transportation today by pointing a browser at electricauto.org. We're going to start today's show with Tesla's official first quarter earnings report for the year, which was released after the close of business on Wednesday this week. Despite the absolutely terrible impact that coronavirus has made on businesses and communities around the world, Tesla's official figures actually reveal a not too bad state. There was, of course, an understandable drop in vehicle production and delivery over the previous quarter. But I should note that Model 3 and Model Y figures were just a skosh higher than in Q4, with Model S and Model X wholly responsible for those lower numbers. Not X and Y, as I misspoke midweek in a video. Sorry, I had a brain freeze. You'll find a full analysis of the earnings from earlier this week on this channel, but the important figures right now for many are these: a 9-cent per share profit using the GAAP method and a $1.24 profit using the non-GAAP system. This is impressive given the current crisis. Audi published EPA ratings for its upcoming e-tron Sportback this week, as well as confirmed official pricing for those in the US. Sleeker and a little more aerodynamic than the e-tron SUV that it shares most of its chassis, drivetrain and power electronics with, the e-tron Sportback has a 7% greater range per charge than the e-tron SUV. This is thanks to a tweak to allow a little extra unlocked battery capacity, as well as an improved drive system software. Like its big brother, the e-tron Sportback is capable of charging at up to 150 kilowatts from a compatible CCS quick charge station. It will go on sale in the US from $78,395. At the start of the week, Chinese electric automaker XPeng unveiled the production version of its P7 electric sedan through an online reveal event. We'd already seen the P7 in concept form, and while XPeng itself is only 6 years old, the P7 is actually its second car. The company says it offers the longest range of any electric car on sale in China. It's powered by an 80.9 kilowatt-hour battery pack built by CATL. It's available with either a rear-wheel drivetrain or an all-wheel drivetrain, and the P7 super long range claims 706 kilometers of range in its best configuration. But what's particularly interesting is the price. The entry-level P7 starts at a lower price than a Tesla Model 3 and is nearer to a Model S in terms of size. It also comes with onboard autopilot-like features, but that's something that's causing a bit of contention as XPeng is embroiled in a legal dispute with Tesla over just where it got that system from. Bollinger, apparently that's how you say it, so sorry if I've been saying it wrong to this point, has also been busy this week, announcing a new variation to its upcoming B2 all-terrain Class 3 pickup truck. Called the Bollinger B2 Chassis Cab, it is, as the name suggests, a B2 pickup with just a bare chassis behind the cab. It's being marketed at the highly lucrative custom outfitted vehicle market, where specialist firms take a large production Class 3 truck, sometimes even larger, and add on specialist bodies like a tow truck or refrigerator equipment or an ambulance body, or maybe even just a utility truck with a lift. Even though Bollinger hasn't started production of the B1 and B2 yet, this diversification could really help the company lower overall costs. But at the same time, it will help specialist customers to go zero emission for their fleet vehicles. We've already reported that it's now looking pretty likely that the launch of the Ford Mustang Mach-E electric SUV will get delayed a little because of coronavirus. This is despite efforts from Ford to try and keep the launch schedules on track. And frankly, we're not sure yet how delayed the launch will be, but this week we did learn that Ford is now planning contactless test drives for the Mach-E. This allows reservation holders the chance to put their potential new vehicle through its paces without putting anyone at risk of becoming ill before they have to confirm their order. In about 3 or 4 weeks' time, Ford says it will have finalised dates for when customers will be able to convert those reservations into confirmed orders. And so the whole idea of the contactless test drive will be an essential part in that process. As usual, whenever there's a Tesla quarterly earnings report, the accompanying earnings call with both investors and analysts brings up some pretty interesting tidbits of information. This time around, there were some very interesting things said. We're going to cover some of them. Elon Musk said that stay-at-home orders within the United States were fascist. I'm not going to cover that one, but in the same call, he complained that Tesla Model S Long Range Plus should have been given a 400-mile rating by the EPA, but alleges that the EPA engineer responsible for testing left the keys in the vehicle overnight with the door ajar. This resulted in the Model S Long Range Plus remaining in full power mode and draining 2% of the vehicle's battery overnight. Since Wednesday, though, the EPA has come out and said that it disputes this claim and is happy to discuss any technical issues with Tesla, as it does with all automakers. Attitudes towards electric vehicles vary from person to person at large legacy automakers. Some executives are sceptical about EVs, while others are embracing of the new technology. Honda Canada's new CEO appears unfortunately to sit in the former category, telling local reporters this week that there's not enough consumer demand for electric vehicles in Canada to help the country meet its Paris Accord commitments. He added standard tropes about electric vehicles being too expensive and too impractical, and appealed on the Canadian government not to dictate which cars automakers should produce. I should note at this point that this is in reaction to Canada's goal of having just 5 to 10% of all new cars zero emission in 10 years' time. This seems to suggest that the previous hopes you all had that the Honda E might end up coming to Canada are likely now dashed. Tesla fans have been eagerly awaiting news of Tesla's Class 8 Semi for some time now. So when Elon Musk confirmed earlier this week that we would have an update on both it and the second-generation Roadster, people started to get excited. Yet on Wednesday, in Tesla's earnings report and during the quarterly earnings call, we heard that Tesla has made the decision to push back the production of its Semi to 2021. This now means it's 2 years behind its original schedule. Neither Tesla nor Elon Musk went into details discussing the reasons for the changed production schedule. I'm guessing it's likely that Tesla wants to build a dedicated production facility for the Tesla Semi before it even contemplates series production, because it's running out of production spaces right now. There was no news on when we could expect the second generation Roadster, but as usual, when I do have more info on that, I'll share. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been hearing some very interesting things about real-world range tests of various versions of the Porsche Taycan sports sedan. If you add my own real-world test drive, where I easily managed the quoted range while driving in a pretty spirited way, last week we heard several drivers have easily added an extra 50% of range over the EPA test figures for the Porsche Taycan 4S. So we've known for a while that something was amiss. This week, we had our suspicions confirmed when car and driver explained that EPA documentation clearly shows that Porsche willingly lowered actual EPA estimates for all of its Taycan variants. This, I'd guess, was so that Porsche customers with little or no EV experience still found that they were getting the performance that the sales materials suggested, which is a pretty smart move for Porsche's first EV. Elon Musk loves Twitter. And for the most part, his fans on Twitter love him, happily talking about future plans for Tesla, SpaceX, the Boring Company, Starlink, and Neuralink. But in recent days, Elon's Twitter account has taken a bizarre turn with rants against coronavirus stay-at-home orders in the US, targeted tweet storms against local governments, and on Friday morning, a stream of tweets about Tesla's share pricing. Starting off with a tweet about how he felt Tesla was overpriced in his humble opinion, Musk went on to state that he would be selling his possessions, quoted lines from the US national anthem, and then gave a tweet that said, quote, "Rage, rage against the dying of the light of consciousness." Since all of that happened, Tesla's share price has plummeted more than $14 billion, and many online have stated concern over Elon's tweets. At time of writing the script for the show, Elon's account has remained eerily quiet for about 6 hours. And now it's time for Short Shorts. General Motors has officially postponed its planned May reveal event for the all-new Hummer electric truck, due of course to the current coronavirus pandemic. It's not clear when the event will happen, but GM did share a new video, a teaser video, just to tide us over until then. Tesla has long maintained a no-spend attitude to advertising, with any Tesla-sanctioned ads being few and far between. But this week, Tesla paid a well-known Chinese social media influencer to do a live stream in which she talked about the features of her Tesla Model S. There are over 4 billion viewers tuning in to watch. A team at the University of Florida have published a paper proposing peer-to-peer car charging, consisting of mobile charging stations on the backs of trucks, plus the ability to pass charge from one vehicle to another in motion with a robotic charging arm. It's certainly unique. Tesla has confirmed that full self-driving will eventually be offered to customers as a subscription service or maybe as a pay-as-you-go service. This would make it certainly possible for customers to rent full self-driving on long-distance trips, but there's absolutely no indication yet on how much it will cost. The European Union is considering ending its subsidies for fossil fuels, noting that the coronavirus pandemic is actually a great time to re-examine how each of its member states will meet the Paris Climate Accord targets. Dumping fossil fuel subsidies and focusing on renewables does seem like a smart way to go. SK Innovation has confirmed that it will be spending an additional $727 million to bring a second battery production facility online in the US to help supply enough cells to Volkswagen for its planned lineup of electric vehicles, and brings the total investment to $1.5 billion. The CHAdeMO Association has unveiled the third version of its charging standard. Combined charging standards with the GBT system, the new 3.0 standard, of course, comes with a new CHAdeMO plug, but apparently it could be backwards compatible with CCS, so yay! Daughter of Ford CEO Bill Ford, Alexandria Ford English, has joined Rivian's board of directors. This move further cements the collaboration and the relationship between the two firms and seems to suggest that Ford may be in it for the long term when it comes to Rivian's future. In a response to charging incentives in China for electric vehicles, or rather changing incentives, Tesla has slashed the price of its Model 3 there in order to once again qualify for purchase incentives. It's a risky move, but one which should pay off, with more customers buying Model 3s. Lordstown Motors has released another video this week. This time, it's a tour of its current production facilities, with the CEO, Steve Burns, showing you around. The former GM facility is in the process of retooling the plant to make its upcoming endurance pickup truck. Swedish firm Cake has started deliveries of its Osa electric motorcycle in the US. The motorbike, which isn't to everyone's liking, sits somewhere between a traditional scooter and a motorcycle, and it offers a top speed of around 60 miles per hour. Brabus, the tuning house known for creating many famous performance Mercedes-Benz, has unveiled its latest creation. It's the Brabus Ultimate E. Based on the Smart for 2 ED, it gets a power boost over stock, a bespoke interior, and obligatory body kit. It looks pretty smart. Yeah, that was a pun I didn't expect in the script. Allegations were made this week by insiders at Karma Automotive that its recent flurry of press releases and concept vehicles are fake. In an article published to Jalopnik, sources claim the company is running low on cash and just desperately trying to woo Chinese investors. The sources claim that prototypes are just, quote, movie props and don't work. A company in the Netherlands has built the world's first fully electric 12-ton road roller. Built by BAM at its plant and equipment department, it's estimated that this will save more than 73 litres of fuel per day in its operation. It's got enough battery power to operate all day and then recharges overnight, ready for use the next. The latest film, produced by Michael Moore and written by his longtime friend Jeff Gibbs, has come under a lot of criticism for making inaccurate statements about the renewable energy and electric vehicle world. Called Planets of the Humans, we did a deconstruction on it on our channel this week, but I'm aware that some of you didn't like our first attempt, so maybe we'll give it a second go? And those are your short shots. There will be more next week. The International Energy Agency has released an official report on the impact that coronavirus is having on global greenhouse gas emissions. It says that overall emissions around the world will drop by about 8% this year because of the pandemic and everybody staying at home. The drop is, of course, primarily down to reduced emissions from transportation, and it's already showing us what an impact our travel has on the world we live in. Without concerted efforts to change the way we travel and work, moving forwards after everything goes back to normal, this 8% drop could be transitory and proves that the positives of what have been a terrible, terrible few months could be lost. And finally, as I've just said, one of the ways to keep our carbon emissions lower as we forge a brave new path towards lower fossil fuel use is to transition all current modes of transport to battery electric or low emissions variants. And that, of course, does also include airplanes. Which is why you might be pleased to hear that air taxi service Quantum Air has just announced it's planning what it says is the world's first electric air taxi service. It's going to launch it next year. Making use of the eFlyer 2 aircraft from Buy Aerospace, which apparently costs around $23 per hour of flight to fuel versus more than $110 if you were to use a conventional gasoline-powered Cessna 172, Quantum Air believes its new service, which will be called Quantum X, will be both popular and profitable. The service will operate in the Greater Los Angeles area, saving those with enough pennies the horrors of hours of traffic jams. And on that note, it's the end of this week's show. But before I go, I would like to thank the Electric Auto Association for sponsoring today's News Roundup show. The Electric Auto Association has been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and firmly believes that our future depends on us all making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. You can find out how to become a member, how to become a local EV educator. You can find local monthly meetups to attend, or just find EV owners about making your own switch to electric vehicles by going to electricauto.org. We would love it if you'd like, comment and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you do feel able, please consider supporting us using the links below. Although we are lucky enough to still be able to produce videos and keep the business afloat, at least for now, our viewer count has continued to rise, but ad revenue has dropped off a cliff to about 1/3 of what it was this time last month. We're getting rid of our studio location as quickly as possible in order to save money and to make sure that we can still make payroll. But like many content creators, we are starting to feel the pinch. If you can, we are always grateful for your support in whatever way you can offer it. And I should point out that it doesn't have to be money. Just sharing our videos and engaging with us online really helps Twitter and YouTube algorithms. I'm going to take a little break from my usual Sunday morning stream this week over on Take Two because this week has been crazy. But I'm hoping to do some live streams again very soon, so make sure you are subscribed to Take Two if you're not already. And I'm going to try and put up a video on my personal channel about our garden progress. I'll be back soon with another show very soon, so thank you for joining me. Stay healthy, wash your hands, and as always, keep evolving.